and how's everyone doing today? Hopefully we had a pretty good day of trading. A lot of things going on today in trade news, especially with the stock markets. A lot of news, a lot of tariffs. Some of those tariffs being postponed, which gives those stocks, a good opportunity to be able to go up. If we look right here, we can see the S&P 500 is at 1.12% above the green. The Nasdaq up 1.46%, and Bitcoin just hit 91,000. That's not bad at all. It was just at 88, so that's growing. So we can definitely see that crypto is doing its thing. But first, let's take a look at Apple. So Apple has a new product support revenue growth. It says Goldman and Sachs. So let's see exactly what's going on with Apple. Let's go ahead and look up the Apple stock real quick. All right, we can see right there. It started the day at around 236. Then you had a pretty good dip all the way down to 229, which probably would have been the best time to get in for those who trade Apple, because that thing came right back all the way to about 235. So, it's never a bad thing when you get a stock moving $6 a day. Let's see, market cap 3.54 trillion, which means that it is above Nvidia when it comes to the market cap. Is actually worth more. Feel like what Nvidia was, Apple is right now as far as the stock market. The S&P 500 just kind of holding it up there and keeping it moving forward. Average volume 46.05 million, volume 47.23 million. So that's not bad, especially seeing how it's after hours. But let's see exactly what this new product is. It says Apple's new products support revenue growth, says Goldman and Sachs. So let's see what's going on here. It says Goldman and Sachs keeps a buy rating of $294 price target on Apple. The company's new Mac and iPad products unveiled this week should support Apple's ability to achieve its Q2 revenue growth outlook of low to mid single digits, despite the lower than expected starting pricing for the MacBook Air, the analyst tells investors in a research note. All right, and this is published first on the fly. So right now we can see that Apple's coming out with some new tech, and looks like shareholders are liking it. So that's not bad at all. So something else that was going on today, matter of fact, let's take a look over at crypto, and let's take a look at that. So we got Bitcoin right now, and it's rising. It started the day out. If you go back to, let's just say, when the market opened, so right about here, we can see it was at 89,000. And then we had a gradual decline all the way to 11:30 a.m. at 87,000. And this is when everything started breaking out. Because if you look between then and let's just say 4:30 when the market closed, it went from 87,000 to 90,000. So that's not bad at all. That's about a 3,000 difference in just one day. Now, you can only imagine if other stocks could do that, just move thousands of dollars a day. There's definitely some money being moved around right there. It says Mount GOX moves over 1 billion worth of Bitcoin to unmarked address. It says bankrupt crypto exchange Mount GOX transfer over 1 billion worth of crypto to unmarked address today, according to Arkham intelligence data. Sounds like some Batman stuff right there. But let's go deeper. I reject your cookies. So what does this mean? Well, after they moved this over, the address received approximately 11,834 BTC. That's Bitcoin, worth about worth about 1.07 billion from Mount GOX's 1PUQB wallet at around 317 UTC on Thursday. Arkham data shows this is Mt. Gox's first larger transaction since late January. So whoever this is, this Mt. GOX, apparently they're a big deal when it comes to Bitcoin, because that definitely sparked some growth when it came to Bitcoin. Now the cool thing about Bitcoin is when it grows, when it starts going up, the rest of the crypto market starts going up too. So if you look at right here, you can see Ethereum's going up a little bit. It's at $2,275 and just went up to $276. So that's constantly moving. Solana's moving up 4.70%. A big thing to look at right here is the percentages, because this really shows you the growth that you have even when it comes to what you have invested in it, especially if you got it when it was at 0% or in the negatives, because that percentage is for however much you have put in there. You see right here, Dogecoin is at 20 cent, so it went up about 4.06%. And let's take a look at XRP, matter of fact, while we're here. Now, I decided to go ahead and jump on XRP when it was a little lower at $2.47. And we see right now it's at a good old $2.51. So it's kind of following that trend with Bitcoin right here. Kind of waiting to see that hit that $2.70. And maybe we can have some fun with that. If you look at the candles right here, we got a lot of green candles going on. You know, we have a little bit of pullback. You know, people got to take their profit, but it keeps going up. So the trend is definitely on the incline. Matter of fact, if you look at it out for a week right here, we can see, if you go back to Sunday, March the 2nd, everything was pretty much low and regular and just kind of hanging out. Then all of a sudden, right here, March the 2nd at 10 a.m., that's when everything started getting disrupted. Those two gigantic green candles right there. And of course, we had a little bit of pullback, you know. It tested down here between $2.03 and $2.04. Then it started kind of gathering momentum. And we can definitely see it kind of stand around there looking for that next breakout. So we'll definitely be looking for that. You know, we love those XRP breakouts. Let's see if there's any new news when it comes to XRP. Not really. It's kind of just talking about everything in general. XRP's kind of lumped in the group now with the Dogecoins and the Bitcoins, which is a good thing. You know, that's not a bad company to have. You actually hear people talking more about XRP than they do Ethereum. And they used to say that Ethereum was going to be the next Bitcoin. But I think that kind of stayed exactly where it was at. Now we can let's go ahead and look at some ETFs. We got QQQ right here doing what it does. Earlier today it was at 491. And we saw that shoot all the way up to 501, 502, even 503 even. So that's definitely not a bad day for QQQ. Let's look at another ETF. We got YOLO. Well, we can see today at when the market started, it was at 207. And you had that big drop down to $2 and then down to 199. Now, if I was looking at this, I definitely would have jumped in just because I know it's an ETF and it's going to go back up. So something like this that drops down to 199, that's always a go. Even if it goes down to 197, because you know it's going to test and go right back up, which is what it did. It went to 3 cents, a little bit down to 1 cent, then eventually hit 6 cents. So that's definitely not bad considering the amount of shares that you possibly could have pulled. Let's look at the candles. You can see right here, not a lot of volume, but the thing about this is you know what it's going to do. That's the thing. You know what it's going to do. Even if you go back a week, 210. You go back a month, 226. It's standing at low twos right there. Now, the cool thing about that is, even when it goes down, it could pull an IQIY. Now, that's today's news. Let's go to my small caps. And if you look at here at IQIY, it was cooking 6.5%. But I was in a place where I couldn't get to it in time, man. But I tell you what, that thing started this morning at 218, which was still too high for me. You know, one thing about IQIY, it can help, but it can hurt you too. You know, I'm used to it being around 212, going down to 208, even 203. You know, that's when it's comfortable for me to get into it. So I was never going to get into IQIY today just because I don't trust it when it's at those high levels. But it stayed there. This is one of those where if you were long and you got in, say back in February, like late February or early March, then you definitely saw those benefits today when it hit $2.27, even $2.32. So that's never a bad thing. Average volume 36.69 million, which isn't bad for a small stock that only stays around the low $2. You know, that is actually pretty good. 60% analyst rating. What do bulls say? Bulls say the company has experienced brief success with blockbuster drama in the past and may be able to replicate the blueprint over the long term. It's not bad. Bears say there remains the possibility of highly competitive global internet service providers re-entering China over the next 10 years. You see, when they say that over the next 10 years, that tells me that it's probably no time soon. So this is definitely one of those things where when I start seeing that pullback on IQIY, I'm definitely going to jump in just because I know it's worth it. And it's staying around where it's at. So that's definitely one of those that when you see red, you got to go hunting. Let's see right here. The next earnings is May the 15th. So we got the earnings coming up next month too. So that's going to be something to look at. It's estimated to be at 0.06 per share. But we'll see. We'll see what it does. 52-week low, $1.82. Today's low, $2.14. Not bad. 52-week high, $5.80. So that may be something to look at in the long term. You know, doubling your money if you really want to go long. But yep, that's just something that we can definitely keep in our mind when it comes to the small caps. Finding something that you know is going to kind of hang around where it's supposed to be at, not do anything too crazy. Let me check out my dividends real quick before we head out. See what's going on with the dividends. So realty income is still rising. Is at 58. It used to hang out around $55. If you look at that, it was around 55, 56. That was back in late February. So it's just slowly rising. This is a slow burner. But the thing about it is you ain't going to lose money on it. It's just very slow, and it's kind of expensive being in the 50s. So you have to definitely spend a lot of money for the shares. But the dividend yield is 5.42%, so that's never a bad bet either. Or not a bet, but an investment. But yeah, so that should wrap it up for today's trading. You know, hopefully everybody made some money, and we're going to keep it moving. So everybody have a nice trading day, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Deuces.